You are Locked On Warriors Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Bay Area, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Warriors Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Show on KMBR. And tonight, the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson bullied the Golden State Warriors as they led wire to wire on their way to a 119-112 victory in Chase Center. The Warriors dropped to below 500 in their own house. The Warriors starters had absolutely no answer for Jalen Brunson and his 34 points, and Miles McBride and his 29. What is that? The bench came to play, but it wasn't enough. Another close game, another Warriors loss. We'll get into it all, but first I want to thank you for watching us on the Locked On Sports Bay Area YouTube channel. Please hit that subscribe button, and thank you for listening on the Locked On Warriors podcast feed. Make sure to check out the Locked On Warriors Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. Cyrus does a great job. And tonight's show is sponsored by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Warriors from the jump got gut punched in this one, down 18-4 early after an offensive outburst by the Knicks. Ball was really jumping around everywhere for the Knicks and not so much for the Warriors. Steph, no field goals in that first quarter. No field goals from Andrew Wiggins in that first quarter or that first half. We got to talk about Andrew Wiggins and how he's just failing the Warriors, straight up failing the Warriors right now on the court. They just looked out of sorts. You saw Steph throw the ball away in that first quarter. He tried to do like a no-look pass, and the only guy there who was Warriors assistant coach Kenny Atkinson, who does not play for the Warriors, on the court, so that wasn't very great. Steph finished that first quarter with 2 points, and Warriors just not really shooting the three ball very well. There was not a lot of scoring from anyone in this starting lineup aside from Steph in the first half. Kuminga got it going a little bit in the second quarter. Chris Paul got it going a little bit in the second quarter. Klay Thompson got it going a little bit early on, but it just wasn't enough, as Jalen Brunson is a certified superstar. And the Knicks did all this tonight without their full bevy of talent. They don't have Mitchell Robinson in the middle. They don't have Julius Randle. They don't have OG Anunoby. I mean, this team is one of the top teams in the East, but they are not whole. The Warriors should win this game. They are whole. They have everybody. Well, mostly whole. They missed. You saw Brandon Podziemski get bonked in the head pretty damn hard in this one by Sims. Sims is a big dude, so Pods went down. You saw him go to the locker room. This was right before halftime. When he went to the bench with like 15 seconds left in the half, and he went right to the locker room, which that hit must have rung his bell. And we were talking on our last podcast about how tough Podziemski is. And so that's a sign that hit was pretty hard. And it's not like he was having a great game before tonight, but this might be the worst game I've seen from Pods. 0 for 2 from the floor, a turnover, no points, -15 plus minus, the worst plus minus on the Warriors roster. And he wasn't having a good game before that bonk, and he definitely was not having a good game after that bonk either. So he spent most of the second half on the bench. Moses Moody did not play in the second half at all. He only had 8 minutes. He left with some knee soreness. We'll have to keep our ears updated on that one. Got to tune in to see what Coach Kerr has to say after this one a little bit later. But the Warriors bench really came to play despite the Moses Moody injury. And I mean, they led the way with the Warriors starters couldn't do anything. And the Warriors bench, especially the trio of Trayce Jackson-Davis, Chris Paul, Klay Thompson, just absolutely carried the Warriors offensively in this one. And there wasn't enough to get it done. Warriors bench scored 60 points. Those three combined for 51 of those 60. So massive scoring contribution from the bench, more than half the Warriors points coming from the bench tonight. That it's not going to get it done against playoff teams. It's a nice boost. We've talked about numerous times why this Warriors bench is so good, but it can't be the the thing that carries the team. That's got to be the starters. Your best players are supposed to start in the NBA. That's how this is supposed to go. And it just doesn't seem like the Warriors are really clicking offensively with their starting unit right now. In the second half, Trayce Jackson-Davis had a huge impact on that third quarter. Warriors did a really good job at the end of the first half to shrink this lead to single digits, just 6 points at the end of the half. This lead was up to 14, 15 points. So great job by the Warriors to get this one within striking distance. Miles McBride, as we said, had a season high 29 points tonight. Season high coming into this was 21. And 19 of that came in the first half. And he averages 6.5 points per game, a second-round pick in 2021 out of West Virginia. This just shows you anybody in the NBA can give you the work. And they're all NBA players for a reason. And this is why. Miles McBride showed you why tonight. And they also got out-rebounded a lot. That was a big key as to why they lost. They also couldn't answer Jalen Brunson, and Steph couldn't shoot threes. All these things went wrong that you need to go right for the Warriors to win. And it felt like every time they made a run, the Knicks had an answer. You saw right in the third quarter, the Warriors were really pushing, and then there was that technical foul on GP2. This was the turning point for me. The technical foul on GP2 for a reckless closeout on a Jalen Brunson 3. He gets 4 free throws, and the Knicks get the ball. Absolutely destroyed the Warriors' momentum, and they shrunk it to 6. They shrunk the Knicks lead to 6, but by the end of the quarter, that run that Brunson weird play fueled, Knicks led by 11 by the end of the quarter, 99-88. So not exactly what you want if you're a Warriors fan. Every time they got something going, something stalled them, whether it was the Knicks defense or some weird play like this. And it kind of felt similar. Not similar, but it was kind of a weird comp to the Warriors last night out when they played against the Lakers, and just the clunkiness to end that game. Versus, tonight, it just felt like this game was nice and smooth all the way through. But that clunkiness did kind of affect the Warriors in the third quarter after that foul, kind of like the clunkiness slowed down the Lakers at the end of this last one. Trayce Jackson-Davis played really well tonight. You saw a couple big alley-oops, huge assist to Klay. The TJD to Klay connection is strong. I mean, TJD with the extra pass out of the post to find Klay for 3. That was really nice to see. Klay with an alley-oop to TJD tonight. That was also really good to see. These are all great things. You need your starters to show up and play too, though. If your bench is outscoring your starters, something is wrong. And Klay, we got to talk about Klay for a minute. He did so many things well tonight for the Warriors. He finished with 8 assists. And Klay, 50% from 3, 5 of 10, and 18 points. So Klay has been doing so much more for the Warriors since he has moved to this bench role. It's really fun to watch him playing some defense, doing a lot to get the other guys involved, like all these rookies and stuff. It's just not the Klay Thompson that I've come to know. He's looking like just dropping dimes out there. This is a great dimension of his game that he has added since he has moved to the bench, and it's been a big plus for the Warriors. Again, it's all for naught if the starters can't score. And they had a 4-minute scoring drought in the middle of that fourth quarter. You can't have that if you're in crunch time against playoff type teams in close games. And Brunson made you pay. Brunson was dominant in that fourth quarter. Steph looked like he was all alone out there. The second that the starters came back in, all the Knicks did was swarm Steph and make somebody else beat you. And nobody else did in the Warriors starting unit. John Kuminga, 16 points. A lot of that came early on. Didn't really do a whole lot in the second half. Draymond Green, 2 points. You don't expect a ton from Draymond Green scoring-wise on offense. He does most of his work setting screens, coordinating the offense, passing, all these things that he does really well. But if he's going to be that guy on offense, you need someone else on the floor with him in that starting 5 who can score besides Stephen Curry. And tonight, John Kuminga, we all know how much pressure is on him. There's a ton of pressure on Jonathan Kuminga to step up and be that number 2, and he really has been. Tonight is a night where you need a number 3 that can also score. And it doesn't need to be a guy who can drop in 20. Doesn't even need to like carry the load primarily offensively at any point in time, but just needs to be another option out there for Steph. And with Klay on the bench, who is that guy gonna be? Because Andrew Wiggins ain't it, apparently. He has not shown up at all for the Warriors when they have needed him, and we got to get into that. We'll talk about it more on the other side. Stick with us on the Locked On Warrior postcast. I am your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll be right back. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. In fact, this show right now wouldn't have happened without LinkedIn, as it played a pivotal role in me landing this job with Locked On. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within just 24 hours. And over 2.5 million small businesses already use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors postcast. I am your host, Eric Triple E Engel. And tonight, man, I am frustrated with Andrew Wiggins. The last couple of postcasts, I feel like I've been a little frustrated. But Wiggins is being he's thorn in my side the last couple games. I mean, he had some garbage time scoring the other night, but it seems like he's just not there. He's not the same guy offensively that he was prior to him stepping away from the court. And we do expect that it's going to take him some time to ramp up all these things, but it's playoff positioning time, where playoffs are right around the corner. There are 15 games left in this regular season. The Warriors need to win every single game that they can. But coming into tonight, they were 3 games behind the Mavs, the Kings, and the Suns, who were all tied 8.5 back of the lead of the first place team in the Western Conference. Warriors 11.5 back, tied with the Lakers, but own that tiebreaker right now. So they're in the 9th seed. And if you want any hope of catching any of these teams ahead of you before the playoffs start, Andrew Wiggins needs to show up. 7 points is not going to cut it. Not scoring the entire first half is not going to cut it. 2 of 8 from the floor is not going to cut it. Yes, the 8 rebounds are nice, but that's it, man. Like, you are so athletic. You are so skilled. Get to the rim. Make a layup. Like, right there in the fourth quarter, how many gimme buckets did Andrew Wiggins miss? He had an opportunity for a transition layup that he just smoked the layup. It's right there for him. He smoked it. Rolls around the rim, snags his own rebound, puts it back up, misses again, snags his own rebound a third time, second time for his own rebound, puts up a third shot, finally drains that one. Then at the very end of the game, the Knicks, the Knicks were already, shot clock's winding down, or not the shot clock, game clock is winding down. Final closing seconds of the game. Knicks, no matter what the Warriors can do on this possession, are going to win the game. So they let Andrew Wiggins shoot this wide open 3, and he clanks it. Something is wrong with Wiggins mentally as far as his mindset for the game right now, and it needs to get fixed ASAP. Because he is not being aggressive enough on offense. He is not being really all that involved. It doesn't seem like he's doing a whole lot. He catches the ball, doesn't really make a good effort to drive, and he's not really a part of the offense right now in this starting unit. And he needs to figure out how he can be more effective with these guys on the court. You have so much room to work with Steph Curry out there. He draws so much of the defense's attention. And you have John Kuminga over there on the other side doing whatever he wants, getting to the rim at will, improving his 3-point shooting. He didn't make any tonight, but he's shooting mid-range jumpers really well. Wiggins needs to complement this. He needs to do the same. If Wiggins can play a fraction at the level that Kuminga has been playing at, who, by the way, has tonight, he only scored 16, below 20 for Kuminga. Kuminga coming into tonight, 8 games of his last 10. He had more than 20 points scored. Tonight, he did not pass that mark. And it would be really nice if Andrew Wiggins could like eat some of that up when defenses are keying in on Andrew Wiggins. This Knicks team is shorthanded. Go at them physically, wear them out, make them play interior defense. Andrew Wiggins is someone on your team that should force the Knicks' hand to be able to make them play more bigs, to make them eat at Hartstein's minutes, to make them eat at Precious's minutes in the paint. Like, I don't know what is happening that the Warriors are just getting dominated like this. Points in the paint tonight was even, dead split down the middle, 50-50. Warriors should have owned that tonight. The Knicks started 4 guards and 1 center. You have John Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins out there. Get to the bucket. This was one of the few times that you're going to have a size advantage, and they just did not take advantage of it. Yes, I know they have a true center in Hartstein in the middle, a true shot blocker. True, but it's not like this guy can cover 2-3 different people at once. I mean, crash the weak side, help, get cut to the rim, give somebody another option. I mean, Josh Hart played all 48 minutes tonight. Miles McBride played 47 minutes tonight. How are you letting these guys push you around? It's absolutely inexcusable. And if you're gonna make a run in the playoffs, you got to do these things. You got to win in more ways than one. You can't just sit back and expect that Steph is going to shoot you to victory every single night with 3-ball after 3-ball after 3-ball after 3-ball. Yeah, Klay Thompson's going to pitch in too. Yeah, so is John Kuminga. Somebody else needs to step up for this team, specifically somebody in the starting lineup, because the bench is fine. They scored more than half the Warriors' points tonight. They scored 60. Trayce Jackson-Davis, 19 points, +6 ±. Klay Thompson, 18 points, +11 ±. Chris Paul, 14 points, -2 ±. That's still a net positive of a +15 ±. This whole bench, the bench is +- positive. The whole Warriors starting lineup, +- negative. Not good. You have to do something. You have to do something to help Steph. You can't just sit back and let this happen. Andrew Wiggins is too good of a player to sit back and be passive like this. He has to step up. He's a not the best, but decent 3-point shooter. He's a good mid-range shooter, and he is elite at getting to the rim. He needs to help this team out offensively. Yes, he contributes defensively. Yes, he rebounds the ball. That's great. We know he can do those things. Frankly, there's a lot of guys on this team that can snag some rebounds. A lot of guys that are undersized that are a lot better than advertised at rebounding the basketball, such as Brandon Pajemski, such as Chris Paul, such as GP2, such as Klay lately, such as Steph too for his size, Draymond for his size. Kuminga pulls down some boards. Everybody on this team is going to pitch in. Obviously, Trayce Jackson-Davis, who pulled down 10 boards tonight and led the Warriors on with another double-double. He's going to pull down some boards too, as he should, being a true center. But we need more than rebounds and defense from Andrew Wiggins if the Warriors are going to be competitive. Frustrating loss, man. Frustrating loss. This is one that the Warriors should have had. Again, OG Anunoby out, Julius Randle out, Mitchell Robinson out. There's no reason that the Knicks should be winning this game. Oh, and speaking of rebounding, the Knicks out-rebounded the Warriors in this one 44-40. You can't get out-rebounded by a team that starts 4 guards. Yes, I know one of them is Josh Hart, and he just been on an unreal rebounding tear lately. Just absolutely unreal rebounding tear. Tonight, he finished with a double-double, 11 points, 11 rebounds, 10 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. And that it seems like he's getting a double-double at least every night with rebounds. The other night he had like 18, 19 rebounds, playing all 48 minutes. It's what this dude's doing over there is pretty incredible. And shout out Dante DiVincenzo. Really wish he was still on the Warriors. I think that would be a great scoring option to pair with Steph when the team is not scoring. He's another option that could have been there. I mean, there's no way the Warriors could have kept him at the salary the Knicks signed him at. There's zero chance the Warriors were going to be able to do that. But tonight, Dante finished 4 of 8 from 3, 7 of 13 from the field, 18 points, 4 rebounds. Really contributed a lot. That would have been a great stat line. If we were talking about that as Andrew Wiggins' stat line tonight, that might have been the difference. That really could have been the difference in a game like this where the Warriors came so close to getting back into this one and could never quite get over the hump. They didn't. Every time that the Warriors starters would come back in, the Knicks would just swarm Steph and force somebody else to beat them, and the Warriors just couldn't do it. With the loss, they're now below 500 at home on the season, 17-18. Why the hell can't this team win at home? How are you going to be losing games at Chase Center? I don't think the home court advantage is any less than it's been in the past. What the hell? Win a game at home, please. Please, please. 15 games left until the playoffs. Stop screwing around. It's time to get serious. It's time to win some games. The Warriors love to just flip on the light switch when it comes playoff time. Time's a ticking. I'm looking at my watch right now. If you're looking on the stream, you see I don't got one, but I'm looking at my hypothetical watch right now. They need to show up. It's time. The playoffs are around the corner. They are here. You need to make a run. You need to know what you got going into the playoffs. You need to know who you can depend on. And right now, looks like the Warriors don't have answers for those things. Ooh. We got more to talk about on the other side. We'll talk more about this Andrew Wiggins thing. And we got to talk a little bit more about Trayce Jackson-Davis and the bench play tonight. They did a lot of good stuff for the Warriors, and I don't want to be mad this whole podcast, man. I want to talk about something good. So we're going to talk about Trayce Jackson-Davis and the good things he's been doing for the Warriors on the other side. We'll be right back here on the Locked On Warriors postcast. You know that instant confidence boost you get from an outfit that makes you look really good? That's what I get with Stitch Fix. Easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with a professional stylist that helps you find new on-trend favorites that will work for you. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required, and they send 5 just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and pro styling advice. And you know I need that. I keep what works and send back the rest. My stylist always sends just the right pieces, and the fit is on point. It's like they have style ESP. I don't know how they do it, but they just get me. Stitch Fix makes it all so easy. I don't like to shop, and they save me that time and effort. Plus, I get outfits that make me look good and feel really good too. And if you don't love something, just send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free. Style that makes you feel as good as you look. Get started today at stitchfix.com/lockedon. That's stitchfix.com/lockedon. stitchfix.com/lockedon. Welcome back to the Warriors postcast. I am your host, Eric Triple E Engel. And tonight, we've been frustrated with Andrew Wiggins. Feels like the Warriors are a piece or two away when he's not showing up. When everyone shows up, they look like contenders. When Wiggins and Brandon Pajemski don't, they don't look like contenders. You can't depend on Draymond for scoring. It needs to come from somewhere else in that starting lineup. It can't all be Steph Curry and all this pressure on 21-year-old Jonathan Kuminga. You have to have somebody else that can contribute. You have to. And maybe that guy is Trayce Jackson-Davis, because in his last 8 games coming into tonight, he's averaged 10.5 points per game, 19 points per game tonight. So almost doubled that production tonight. 10 rebounds for TJD. He played 26 minutes, 9 of 10 from the floor. And the one shot he missed, he got absolutely hacked on. That was a missed foul for sure. Hartstein just grabbed his arm, and TJD actually pulled down his own rebound on that one and made it anyways. Got fouled a second time, even though the bucket still went in, and yelled at the ref and flexed at him and said, "Zach Zarba, call the damn foul." And you've kind of seen NBA games officiated a little bit differently since the All-Star break. They've been a lot more physical, and tonight was no exception. This game was really physical, and TJD thrived, absolutely thrived in that environment. And you love to see that, man. I miss the old school physical basketball where defense was actually a thing and you could bang in the post, and guys like TJD were on every single basketball team. And now it's like rare to have a guy like that actually plays a lot of minutes and is effective. And it's damn fun to watch him running around out there, laying dudes out, throwing bodies around, snagging rebounds, soaring up there. He's got such good hops for a guy his size. Man, is he fun out there to watch. 10 rebounds again tonight, 19 points. He's working his way into the discussion for, is this guy starting lineup material? I mean, I think you have some redundancy with point guards on this team. You have 3 really good point guards, and this is obviously a good problem to have between Steph, Brandon Podziemski, and Chris Paul. But you kind of need another scorer. And I think that this, emergence of TJD gives the Warriors a little bit more flexibility to, as we said is key, win games in a different type of way other than just shooting threes and outscoring your opponent. I mean, tonight, the Warriors 14 threes, the Knicks 14 threes. You didn't outscore them from 3, and the Knicks beat you in most other phases of the game. They're going to win that one. They're just going to win that one. You have a Miles McBride go off for 29 points, season high. You're not, you kind of live with that, but at the same time, you want the Warriors to have a response for this. Like, yes, you want to make someone other than Jalen Brunson beat you. Jalen Brunson also had 34 points tonight. You didn't really do that super well either, but you can't let Miles McBride score 29 and not have a response to it. Like, yeah, if he gives you 29 and you got someone else who not necessarily unexpected, but someone other than Steph who scores a little bit higher than their average points per game, that's okay. The Warriors just didn't have it tonight. Their bench came to play, 60 points. TJD, Klay, and CP3 combined for 51. Their starters did not come to play, and that was a problem. Only Steph and Kuminga were in double figures for the starting lineup, and you had 3 guys on the bench in double figures. It's just not. It's inexcusable, and that's without Moses Moody, and he missed the entire second half with left knee soreness. It's not great. So hopefully TJD gets some more minutes going forward. I think that this is a good situation for down the stretch. You don't have a whole lot more time. Maybe give TJD a start or two and see how he meshes with these other starters. Not just, I know he started some games this year, but I'm not talking about a start because somebody's injured. I'm talking about a start because, like, maybe Andrew Wiggins isn't the guy with the starting lineup. Maybe Brandon Podziemski is just not the good matchup for one night. Maybe the other team's a little bit big and you want that size. So throw TJD out there. He's proven he can be a scoring threat in the paint. If he's able to score with lobs from Chris Paul, why can't he score from lobs from Draymond? I'm sure they'll come across just the same. I'm sure they'll count for 2 points when he puts the ball through the cylinder just the same. So that's one positive we can take away from tonight, is the continued development of Trayce Jackson-Davis. And looking towards the future, what he can provide the Warriors from a flexibility standpoint that they haven't been able to have, I mean, really ever. Like, when's the last time they had a scoring big that could also play defense in the same player? Like, yeah, you had Andrew Bogut, great defense, awesome, like defensive player of the year level defense, can't score, can't shoot to save his life. You got Mo Spates, one of the best scoring big men in the NBA at the time, but not really there on defense, playing a lot of Matador defense, where you're just pulling the gate and letting the ball run right by you. So not a great showing by the Warriors overall tonight, but take some solace in the fact that TJD is there in the middle and is getting better and is only going to contribute more to this Dubs lineup and team as he gets better. Real quick before we get out of here, I want to shout out the NBC Women's Empowerment broadcast tonight. You got Jenny Kavnar on play-by-play. She'll be doing play-by-play for the A's this season. It was cool to see. You also had LaChina Robinson, Laura Britt, and Locked On's own Kylan Mills, all on the Warriors, broadcast pre and post. Shout out all of these phenomenal women for paving the way, making their mark in the sporting industry. You love to see that. You want this to be an inclusive thing. Sports for everybody. It's for everybody. Stop gatekeeping. Sports are fun. Let everyone have fun. Fun's for everybody. That's about all I got to say to that. If you're still gatekeeping this in 2024, I don't know what to say to you. So shout out all the women on the NBC Women's Empowerment broadcast tonight. And shout out, Klay, Chris Paul, and Trayce Jackson-Davis, and Steph too. We're real quick. Last note on this postcast. Steph moved into 30th all time in scoring tonight. The guy ahead of him is Mr. Guaranteed Charles Barkley, and I guarantee that Steph is going to pass him and move into 29th all-time in scoring sooner rather than later. Steph's got a ton more points left in him in his NBA career, and Charles Barkley's probably got a ton more really bad takes in him sitting on the TNT desk, but we're all still going to watch him and laugh at him because he's funny while he does it. So that's about all the time that we have for you tonight on the Locked On Warriors postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and we'll come to you live following the Warriors' next matchup. It's going to be Wednesday versus the Grizzlies at 7 p.m. at Chase Center. And hopefully the Warriors can get back to 500 at home. I didn't think I'd be saying this in March. I really didn't, man. Got to start winning some games at home down the stretch. Got 15 more games in the regular season. I need them to finish with a winning record at home. I really do. I think they got no shot in the playoffs if they can't figure out how to win at home. So thanks again. Locked On Warriors postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll see you next time. Peace.